Brad here. I'd be more than happy to entertain you in as many ways possible, as long as it's within my comfort zone. And there's not a lot of things that really, in the long run, probably wouldn't be in my comfort zone. Hey, maybe I jump the Great Canyon. It's possible. Maybe I go fishing for great white sharks across the coast of Australia. Yeah, that'd be cool. But I'll tell you one thing. 1 dead and 5 wounded, and then they had a mass shooting on the 401. God, I don't care what Josie says, or the Beastie Boy says, or Michael Rapora. I don't like hip hop at all. I maybe faked like it when I was younger, but I really don't like it. I find it quite annoying. And all the negative stigmatism that's been attached to it, all the gang violence that it's created, don't tell me that there's not a link between gang violence and hip hop. There is. So I want no part of that. I don't even like the music. To me, it's fucking annoying. So as God is my witness, I will never do anything hip hop. This I promise you. Hey, I like reggae. I like blues. I like jazz. I like funk. I like all kinds of stuff like that. But I don't like rap. I don't like hip hop. It's very annoying, to tell you the truth. It's the whole sound of it. It's like, it doesn't sound like music to me. It's just some guy talking. Like Drake's voice is very annoying. He's actually got a very nice singing voice, but hip hop sucks, right? Most white people don't like. Lots of white people. I'd say the majority of white people I talk to don't like hip hop. I mean, a few do, but they're usually like little stoner weight cases that are an absolute waste of skin, right? So I don't ever want to do hip hop. I think Eminem's a fag. I don't want to be Vanilla Ice. He had like couple hit songs. He's a pretty cool guy that he's done that home improvement show. I think that's cool. Maybe I'll work with him someday in that aspect. But I don't really like hip hop. It's not my thing. So don't try and force me to do that, because I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing it. I don't care what Jimmy Fallon says. I don't care what anyone says. I don't like it. They say Toronto's the safest city in North America. Well, we're going through a rash of gang violence right now, and I fully support stop and frisk. If you got nothing to worry about, you got nothing to hide. But then I often wonder, what's going on in other cities across North America with gang violence? I know Chicago's, apparently it's going through a rash of gang violence. It must be escalating through the roof right now. But you know what the cause of this problem is? I hate to point fingers and play the blame game or whatever the hell it is, but it is hip hop, right? I don't like it. I don't like the clothes. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the style. So you can say, oh, and yes, you do. No, I don't. There's too many yeses and not enough nos. So hip hop's definitely not definitely a no. I don't like it personally. It's just the whole sound of it is like really irritating and stupid. I hate the clothes. I hate the culture. Believe it or not, I do actually like black people's personality. They're fun, right? I do like hanging out. You'll often catch me hanging out in an after-hours club with a bunch of black people. I don't mind them, right? Like, I don't like but I think at the same time, I don't like calling people niggers and stuff like that. It's not my thing, right? It's nothing. And just so for people do data hacking and stuff like that, I really don't have a problem in the gay community either. It's like, they don't bother me, right? They're not really hurting me. So let's just keep your fucking hands to yourself and we should be okay. Other than that, we're good. I say faggot and stuff like that because it's just for shock value. Like, why not? The hip hop guys can do it, right? But everyone's like to point finger at me. I don't like to use ethnic slurs too much. Of course, I am guilty of in the past. I'm only human, right? But if I were to ever get in the spotlight, well, I'd have to get a PR trainer to really help me hone in that kind of negative stuff. But that would come with it, right? But no, I don't like hip hop, right? I don't. It's like there's nothing to pretend about. I'm just gonna be. What you see is what you get. Like I'm not into it. They can't play guitar. They can't play drums. They can't play bass. I mean, at least the DJs can actually spin something, right? And they kind of it's actually harder than it looks. But hip hop's always a sample of something else, someone else's music. Like Biggie Smalls was Notorious was that's actually a Duran Duran thing, right? He's getting big off Duran Duran. They actually do a lot of sampling, and they don't really have any original material. I don't really consider it music. They can't play any instruments. They suck, right? Whereas like, you know, Rick James, you could play bass, you know. Lenny Kravitz, he's a wicked guitarist. I love Craig Ross. James Brown is awesome, but you know, it's just it's worn off. It's had its day. It's time to go, right? Like I'm sorry, Kanye. I'm sorry, you know, all those other guys, but it just sucks now. It all like you all suck too, right? You all suck. Like maybe rap was good at one point, but it's outgrown its useful as novelty. And like I said, believe it or not, only a handful of people, white people, like rap. Most of us don't. Most of us kind of, you know, intellectual thinkers and stuff like. And I'm getting all these dirty looks from people who already watched this or something like that. I don't. Like those people that are fucking, you know, hardcore hip hop guys, they're absolute morons. I'm sorry, it's true. They're usually like, you know, the little peons that, you know, are told what to do. I don't like hip hop. And here's what I'm doing about it. Black people are having Black Lives Matter. As white people, we can choose to boycott that shit until these guys start behaving themselves and stop shooting each other up and stuff like that. We don't have to like it. Just like they've created jazz, blues, rock, reggae, all these other great genres of music. And I admit, they're all great. I like all those things, all these genres. I'm really just discovering jazz for the first time. It's great. But for us to like do everything the hip-hop people or the black people are doing, we don't have to do that because I don't want to bring this gang violence into my community and stuff like that. We already went through in the 70s and 80s with the bikers and stuff like that, and they carded and frisked them. But just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's automatically cool. Like I like soul, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire, something like that. Lionel Richie's awesome. I don't find The Weeknd's that talented or Beyonce in the least, to tell you the truth. I think Beyonce sucks. Jay-Z's an idiot. He's a moron. I really can't stand hip-hop. I can't stand rap, you know. All the black people I know have jobs and stuff like that, but I don't really talk with them. But just as a message to any of the black community, how many of you have known someone that's been a victim of gang violence? Just ask yourself that question. And what do you think is perpetuating this broken circle? It's hip-hop. So I don't like hip-hop at all. It's not my thing. You're blaming yourselves for calling us for calling yourselves niggers, whores, and preaching gang violence, and somehow that's my fault. No, I'm like an AC/DC Led Zeppelin guy, and I like Kiss and stuff like that. That's my thing. I don't really like the sound of hip hop. I think Kanye West is an idiot, a racist, and a bigot. I don't like Lil Wayne. I don't like Drake. You know, I don't like any of them, none whatsoever. I did like Nicki Minaj, but she's like one person, so I don't really care. 50 Cent, you know, the Valentine. I listened to some of his albums, you know, Snoop Dogg. It's all da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, as if that's something cool. And then you're crying to me about it. No, I'm more into Kiss or Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. Smashing Pumpkins and Soundgarden, Nirvana, you know. I mean, the new indie stuff, indie's probably going to die out too because it's really too soft and watery, right? I don't really consider that rock and roll. It's like, I mean, I like R.E.M. and stuff like that, but even they had a little, Michael Stipe's got some testosterone, believe it or not, right? It's all just whiny, like, you know, limp wrist crap. Like, I don't really like it. It's just indie. I mean, hey, I do like Josie's Morning Show, but it's a little too, the music they play on indie is just a little too soft, right? The actual indie scene, we just cater to the geeks and whiners a little too much, I think, right? You know, but like I said, I like all those other genres, but I really don't like hip-hop. So as Brad here, as God is my witness, I don't give a fuck who I let down. I won't do any hip-hop. I don't like it. It's not, I don't really consider it music. It's like I'm more into like fit, like I try and like stay healthy. Whereas they like to get fat and sloppy and stuff like that, right? Like that's them, right? You know, I don't want to work. I don't want to get a job. I want to just be a hustler. I want the thug life, right? Well, as we're all seeing by just turning on the TV every morning, that doesn't really pay off, man. So get fit, get a real job, go to work. I remember listening to, like, I don't know, who was it, Eddie Griffin saying, or some hip-hop guy, you know, biggest pimp is her mama. Because, you know, make sure you got a good job, girl, blah, 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 whatever, you know, whatever happened to loving a guy who had a bus pass. Well, those days is long gone. You should drop those guys like a fucking bag of rocks, man. Those guys are absolutely fucking useless and will only find themselves with you knocked up and him behind bars and you sitting there collecting welfare stamps and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. So Brad here, hip-hop sucks.